Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Bow and Arrow Tarot. Here are the three piles to choose from for today's episode of the Pick a Card series, What's Next in Love. As always, take a deep breath, soften your gaze, and allow your intuition to guide you. Feel free to pause if you need more time, and remember that while I may use pronouns like he or she, the energies in these messages can apply to anyone regardless of gender or orientation. Timestamps are below, and if you're new here, I always recommend grounding first. Let's begin. If you picked pile 1, your message begins with the Mother, followed by we have Temperance energy. Interesting. And a Two of Swords, a decision. So Mother energy, Temperance, and a decision coming in. That's the nature of what's coming in, love, for you next. So what's the connection with you? What are your deepest desires here? Moon in Cancer energy. Empress, more Mother energy, along with the Six of Pentacles, and guidance from Spirit comes in the form of cultivation, Spirit of the Fly, and we have Spirit of the Rabbit. Interesting energy here. Friendship is your deepest desire. We're going to get into that. But what's next in love for you? The Mother archetype. This is an interesting, strong archetype. It's number 1 in the archetype cycle. The mother is the one that nurtures, right? She nurtures, she supports, she increases, she allows room for growth. But there's a dual nature here with Mother energy, right? Mother energy can be grasping and letting go at the same time. So when we talk about what's next in love for you, motherhood for some of you, I look ahead at fertility here with the Spirit of the Rabbit. Yeah, for some of you, I have a feeling that there's a motherhood aspect coming into your life. There's a creation, some kind of special energy, right? Connection that is coming into your life and allowing you to be the mother in a way, to fulfill that archetype. You may be resonating with a need to nurture, to build, to grow, to increase. That's another aspect of that mother archetype. So let's go further. We have Temperance energy and the Two of Swords. So there's a decision that needs to come in. Yeah, some of you, I'm going to tell you now, there indeed is motherhood coming into your love life, right? Coming into your life as a result of love, but a decision as well. Temperance energy. There's some situation in your life that you've had to show a lot of patience with. And then this strong decision. This is a strong reading. It almost feels as though you may indeed already be with someone, be in a relationship. But the next thing, or the next important thing coming into your love life is indeed the birth of something. And for some of you, it may indeed be actual motherhood. I feel strongly children here. I think it's something you've desired for a long time. Let's go ahead and get the clarifier. 4 of Cups. So there's a decision. I think someone's already in your life right now that you have a relationship with. And the next stage of that, 10 of Wands, letting go. The next stage, some of you are dealing absolutely with someone that you probably have wanted to have a family with. You may even have felt that desire to be a mom. You may have felt that desire to have children. But there's been a situation in your life that's been quite unsure about that, right? You've had to exercise a lot of patience. It may be that the person that you're with wasn't quite ready. There were some issues here, for sure, about not accepting love, not accepting a relationship, carrying too much around with you. This could very well be a decision that you've had to make, right? There may indeed be a choice you had to make. One person in your life who just was not willing, perhaps, not accepting that cup of love, not willing to take it to that level of commitment. And so you've exercised a lot of patience, right? A lot of time, a lot of understanding. But at some point, I think it got to be too much. I feel here strongly that very, very, very much You've had a choice between two people. One person that you may have really, really cared for that just was not willing to step to that plate or provide that level of family and commitment. It feels to me here like you gave that individual a long time. You gave them a lot of patience, and ultimately at the end of the day, you had to make a decision, right? You had to make a decision for what you truly desired in your life. And I think you may have had to sort of let go. This is interesting with that 10 of Wands, 4 of Cups. So now let's look at your deepest desires. Moon in Cancer, friendship. Moon in Cancer is a desire of family. Deep family connections, deep friendships, loyalty, that longevity of a healthy home life. Yeah, very much what's coming in your life next, and certainly in love, is a choice. A choice for you to, you have options here, to take the option that allows you to increase, that allows you to be the mother and to give and to nurture and to work towards a family, or to keep denying yourself that. Emperor's energy, 6 of Pentacles. You have so much to give. I feel strongly here that for a long time you've denied your own desire for Empress energy, for growing, nurturing, creating, for having that family. Mother energy is so strong here. It feels here like for a long time you denied yourself that, because the person you were with may not have been ready. They may not have been willing to be with you in that space, to take that level of commitment. And yet you did have an option, though. An option has shown up. So this is a strong reading for somebody where it's not so much about the specific thing or person coming into your life next. For you, it is more to do with a decision in which the next stage of your love life is going to pivot on that decision. Empress energy is there. You have so much desire for growing and increasing and nurturing that I just don't feel that you could have denied yourself anymore. And of course, resonating with that natural mother energy, it's almost natural for you to sort of deny yourself and exercise so much patience and understanding. That is the essential mother in you, right? It naturally expressing itself with a love connection. And yet the crux of the whole issue is that you want a family, you want more, you want deeper connection, more commitment, you want to build on something. You want to give into something of yourself. 6 of Pentacles is a very giving energy. And unfortunately, it just seems as though you were kind of pushed to a place where you finally just had to decide. It probably was not very comfortable. It wasn't an easy decision that you made, but you definitely turned your back or shut the door on a connection that for a long time was just weighing you down. Yeah, you struck out on your own. Page of Wands, there's your clarity. Time for you to be brave and to step out in the world and to follow your heart and what you truly desire. And what you desired was a relationship, a connection that is deeper. And so what's coming for you absolutely is that choice. Finally, that choice that you're making. Don't forget to stay to the end. We're going to be pulling the zodiac signs to see what zodiacs you might be dealing with in this connection. Let's move on to Spirit. Spirit, cultivation. Spirit is letting you know that moving forward, one of the biggest, most positive things you can do for yourself and for your future is to cultivate what you truly desire. I think for a long time, you had, as I said, been pouring your energy into a connection that wasn't cultivating what you truly desire. Feel strongly like some connection here was always going to be a no to that choice or to that question, no matter how long you gave it, no matter how much patience you exercised. And you were cultivating a loss, right? Spirit is letting you know it's time to make the decision for the things in your life that you had to put energy into, and it works towards your highest good, your desire, clearly your desire for a family. Again, friendship is there. Empress, Page of Wands, a lot of bravery for you to step out on your own. Definitely involves the splitting of something and yet the moving towards something else that is closer to what you want. What are the energies here? Spirit of the fly and spirit of the rabbit. Well, the fly talks about getting rid of stagnation and rot and things that no longer serve you. And again, yeah, there was a relationship that began to be stagnant. You weren't able to move towards that desire of yours. Spirit of rabbit is there, fertility, sex, and spring. It feels, listen, some of you, I'm going to come straight out and say it. It's like as soon as you make that pivot, you make that decision to say, look, enough is enough of me putting my energy into a relationship or even a person who will not ever give me what I desire. As soon as you make that pivot and get rid of that stagnation, it's almost as if you immediately pivot to an option that brings you exactly what you want. You may have had two people in your life or two lovers that you've been able to choose from for quite some time. Beautiful reading. Let's go ahead now. Remember that spirit of the rabbit. Remember fertility, sex, okay? So springtime, it's going to come in. And when it does, some of you may indeed, you may leave one situation here that was holding you back and you have options, get into another situation and boom, immediately that family is there. Let's go ahead and pull out the zodiac signs. Aquarius, some of you are dealing with that Aquarian energy. That's that air. We're going to pull three more. Some of you are dealing with that strong Taurian energy, Taurus. Beautiful. Associated with Empress as well. Some of you dealing with that fire, Aries. Aries sign, yes. And one more. Some of you are dealing with a Cancer. So there is that water sign as well. Oh, I love it. So Aquarius, Taurus, Aries, and Cancer. We have all of the elementals, air, earth, fire, and water represented. So that's quite interesting. All right, folks, this is the message I have for you today and for pile number 1. I hope it brought you clarity and insight. If you feel like you'd like to stay with me for pile number 2, I'll see you over there in just a moment. If you picked pile 2, your message begins with the vow, a promise, along with 5 of Cups, a longing, and a Knight of Pentacles, devotion. What do you truly desire? Moon in Gemini, along with that Lovers and that Emperor, and Spirit lets you know that forgiveness is at play, along with Spirit of Elixirs. And we have Spirit of Communication. All right, I'm going to cover up that Lover's energy. YouTube does not like nudity, and I don't want to get into any trouble with YouTube. So we have Moon in Gemini for your deeper desires. But what comes next to you in love is the vow. Now, remember to stay until the end of your reading when we'll be pulling the 4 zodiac signs associated with this message. And let's begin the vow. Yeah, a promise. The vow archetype is powerful. A lot of times we say things, and even if it just comes out, off the cuff, words have meanings. And so that's why throughout history, recitations, prayers, things that we say, the vow is the archetype for all of that kind of energy. It's speaking something into existence. Right? And we're going to go deeper into this, but what comes next to you in love is the promise, is the promise that comes through a vow that is being made or a vow that has already been made that now it's time to make good on. So we're going to go deeper, but for now, 5 of Cups energy along with that Knight of Pentacles. For some of you, there's been a loss. There was a loss. Someone went away, a vow maybe even had been broken. 5 of Cups is a real kind of missing you, depression, melancholy. And yet, Knight of Pentacles indicates that there's a new path, a new beginning, a new start. There's a devoted, committed energy here to rebuilding. To rebuilding, or at least to staying on the path of what it is you're trying to achieve. So let's go a little bit deeper with this vow, because I would like to know more about this vow being either new or old. 10 of Wands, interesting. And the 3 of Wands along with the 9 of Cups. Well, I think what happened here, is that there is definitely something you've been carrying around. 10 of Wands energy could have been a burden. The burden perhaps even of a promise. It almost feels like you have been weighed down by the burden of a promise that was made in the past. And somewhere along the line, this broke up, right? This vow or this promise was not sort of followed through on the other side. I feel like you're the one who held up your side of the bargain, right? And you carried it and carried it and carried it, and yet there was the loss. It never came to fruition. And now comes in some new information and some happiness, right? There may even be reconciliation here. There may even be reconciliation. There feels like this was a very difficult time. So much has had to change. Sometimes with a vow, with that promise, there's different stages of it. And holding true to it can be taking you through a dark stage. 3 of Wands, 9 of Cups. Something has come in that's changed everything and brought happiness. Where there was a burden and there was loss and melancholy, there is now happiness, and there's a sense here of being back on track. Some of you, it feels like you're getting back on track with someone in your life. There was a vow, there was a promise with a love connection made that things went sideways. And now what's coming next in love for you is getting back on track with that person, sort of aligning yourself on that path. There was a period of you being the one primarily carrying a lot of responsibility and a lot of burden. That seems to have turned around. It feels like you also were very sort of committed and devoted and waiting almost for news to come in, waiting for a change in the air, and it's come. So what do you deeply desire here? What you deeply desire, Moon in Gemini, adaptability is being able to sort of shift and build on top of your desires and hash things out. Gemini is a very it's air energy. It's a lot of thoughts and communication. It's a lot of spontaneity, but it's also growing. It's a desire to be, exactly as it says, adaptable, changing quickly with the enthusiasm. And at the same time, willing to build, to increase, not giving up, right? You deeply desire that kind of energy of a relationship. So the vow is made, the promise is made, and yet things come along that we have to change, right? Pressures, outside pressures, influences come along, and we may have to change. We may have to adapt. But what endures is the promise. What endures is the objective, Knight of Pentacles, what you truly desire. And in this case, what you really, really desire is to build on that love connection. We have Emperor energy along with the Lovers. I hate that I can't show you that Lovers card. Isn't that terrible? But I don't want YouTube to give me any trouble, any strikes, no strike channels. So Lovers energy, that's what you truly desire here. You desire a spontaneous relationship that builds, that has strength. Emperor energy is powerful. It's strong. It's ambitious. It has authority. More than anything, it's associated with Aries energy, and Aries is the builder, right? It's increasing the empire. And so no matter how difficult things have been, this absolutely feels like the dark days of a connection. The days of a connection where you were missing someone are over. You're coming into a building stage. You're suddenly coming into a stage where everything is moving in the direction you want it to move. You're increasing. There's definitely a loss and a sadness, though. 5 of Cups, 10 of Wands. It's for some of you. I feel what flipped over. The Sun, beautiful growth that flipped over. For some of you, it almost feels to me like you may have been involved with someone who had to go away, who was in the military, right? They may have had to go away or be deployed. There's a deploy energy here that somehow, for some reason, whether that's military work, responsibilities, whatever it is, somehow the vow was strained while you carried the burden. You missed them very, very much. And yet the love was never lost. The waiting was never lost for things to change. This doesn't feel like somebody hurt you or left you because they didn't love you anymore. There just was a very difficult time that you went through, that you've been going through, that's about to change. If it hasn't changed already, let me get another clarifier. Chariot, exactly, Sun and Chariot. The path is opening up for you now, right? So in this connection, in this promise, in this vow that you made with someone, that the two of you made to each other, there were dark days, but now the ability to adapt, and that's truly and when we come to that moon, what you desire, you're definitely the type of person who's willing to hunker down, hold it down, and then when you and your lover, your person are ready to pivot, let's boogie, let's do this, there's a fire here as well. Now, coming in with that Sun energy and that Chariot, yeah, there's a whole new stage coming in, a whole new chapter that's opening up. The Sun is there. Now there's warmth. There's room for growth. There's clarity. There's understanding. I love this for you. I really do. You definitely paid your dues. You paid your dues. All right, what does Spirit have to say for you? Forgiveness. Yeah, there may be some hard feelings, and forgiveness is definitely at play. When we come back to this period of time where, you missed them, there was melancholy here, you carried a lot until you couldn't carry it anymore, there may be some working out that has to be done, especially if your connection, your love, is coming back after being a period away. If they've been away for a while, they've been called away, whether by choice or not, there are some hard feelings here, but nevertheless, forgiveness. Spirit says that in the meantime, there's been a lot of spirit of communication and spirit of elixir. Yeah, love letters, emails, phone calls. Again, the two of you were separated from each other through no fault of your own. Spirit of elixir is there. Intoxication, uninhibited, shameless, right? I feel like this is to do with what's coming up. There may be some nice celebrations coming up. Spirit of elixir is at play. You want to take care with that energy, though. Definitely work through the forgiveness, because you know how elixirs can turn sideways. 1 minute, everything is really exciting and happy, and everyone is celebrating, and then the next things can go sideways. So you want to keep that level of communication open, forgiveness there. But yeah, what's coming next into your love life for pile number 2 is absolutely the follow through of a promise, a vow, finally following through, or rather, I would say, it's not that the vow is following through, but it held steady. Even through the darkest times, you promised each other to hold on to each other, and you did, despite distance and space, perhaps, longing, missing each other. That commitment and devotion was there. All right, it's time for me to go ahead and pull your zodiac runes. So let's go ahead and pull out what energy you might be dealing with in this connection. Some of you have Capricorn, earth energy coming in. Some of you have more earth energy with that Virgo. So Capricorn and Virgo for this message. 2 more we're pulling out. Some of you have that fiery Leo coming in. So Leo energy, and then 1 more. Some of you have Scorpio. Yes. So 2 earth, Capricorn, Virgo, 1 fire, Leo, and that water, Scorpio. All right, everyone, that's the message I have for you today and for pile number 2. I hope it brought you clarity and insight. If you'd like to stay with me for pile number 3, I'll see you there in just a moment. If you picked pile number 3, your message begins with the seed, along with Nine of Swords, oh, regret. And the Lovers, wow. Your deepest desire. Moon and Taurus, exaltation. We have a Five of Wands, a lot of strife and arguing, a lot of fighting for your ground. Seven of Wands. This is an interesting reading. Inner Child is your guidance from Spirit, along with Spirit of the Witch and Spirit of the Clover. Yeah, there's a lot of fire in this reading, a lot of work that has had to be done. Don't forget to stay until the end of the reading. We'll be pulling the 4 zodiac signs associated with your message. So let's begin. The seed. What's coming in next in love for you is the seed, or rather the harvest of it. So somewhere along the line, there was a seed that was sown. And I believe that the seed, you are in the process now of growing and beginning to harvest. The thing with the seed, though, oftentimes we say, you reap what you sow. It depends on what type of seed is sown, right? And how it is sown. When we plant a seed and we plant an idea or an objective or a goal, especially in love, we want to make sure that that is done from our heart, with our heart chakra open, out of honesty. And so once we sow that, right? Once we plant that seed, we have to, deal with what comes with nurturing it. And with nurturing this seed, there's been a lot of pain. Nine of Swords along with the Lovers. There was some regret, some anxiety here in this connection, some sleepless nights associated with a love connection that was started. So somewhere along the line feels to me strongly like, you began a love connection with someone, you sowed the seed, and you are in sort of the throes right now of all of that it entails. And there were some decisions perhaps that were made either on your end or their end that has caused a lot of anxiety. As I look ahead to this strife here, we're going to get to it, a lot of anxiety. A lot of maybe even second guessing. There may have been some actions taken definitely associated with this love connection that you may look back and say, man, did we do this the right way? Is this the right thing that we've done? Or did we make the right decision? Let's go a little bit deeper. I want to know the nature of this seed, because this is what's coming next in love for you. So there's another stage, Ace of Swords flipped out. Yeah, there's some knowledge, some information coming in. There's another stage here, Six of Wands. So that victory, and Seven of Cups. I think in the beginning, you were connected. You started something with someone, and I think you really believed at the time. I think you might have had some expectations that may not have been that realistic, or, they were realistic, they were real and valid, but you may not have realized how much you would pay for that. Either pay for it or what it would actually entail to get that, to achieve that dream you had, that love connection dream you had with someone. Because in the end, it caused a lot of pain and agony here. So something along the line, it feels almost as forbidden love comes to mind. There may have been a situation where you got together with someone and that connection with them somehow just wasn't feasible at that time, but the two of you did it anyway. And, the turmoil, somehow there's turmoil caused. Nine of Swords. Either other people were involved here, right? Other people were involved. Other feelings were involved. Responsibilities. Nevertheless, what comes in, interesting, Six of Wands, Ace of Swords. So ultimately, you guys kind of, get through it. Certainly, you're getting through it. And now you're at that stage where something new is coming. A victory is finally coming. This has been a running theme throughout all of the piles. And I don't know, this is pile 3. I don't know if you've come directly to this pile or you've watched the other ones, but there's been a lot of fighting for love going on today in this episode of the pick a card, what's next in love? Because here we have again a situation where you went through a lot of difficulty, with this connection. Specifically with, that feeling of once you sow the seed, it's like you don't dig it up, right? You sown it, that's it. It's not that you're stuck per se, but you don't know what you're going to get until it starts growing. And it's as if that you definitely went through a dark period here as a result, but holding strong, right? Maintaining your ground. Victory is coming in now. A victory, a celebration of victory, right, is coming in now. And those dreams that you had that seemed maybe a little bit lofty and unrealistic at the time are starting to be very realistic. What do you truly desire? So Moon in Taurus, this is beautiful. Moon in Taurus is exaltation. And, when when the moon is placed in this position in Taurus, it desires a happy home life. Physically and emotionally, to be happy here, it's like you want to live together. You want to live together well. You want to have abundance and financial security, and you want to be happy, and you want to be with each other. There is a level of luxury and abundance that is desired here, and that is worked for. Taurus, very hardworking sign. And we see that here. And this is what I looked ahead to earlier in your reading, that you just put so much work into it. You had to really stand your ground. There were other people in this connection that really sought to sort of bring you down, break you up, cause fights, cause disruption, compete for attention. It may have felt like at times you were almost all on your own, sort of like holding your ground. Definitely feels like forbidden love energy, or love with a connection with someone where there was going to be fallout, right? The two of you pursuing your relationship and your love for each other, there was going to be fallout. And it just wasn't going to be that easy, that open, that accepted. This is, when we look at the full message here, I'm the type of reader, I often will lay down this spread so we can see the full message and we work through it. We see absolutely the winning here, the celebration, the victory here after all of this battling. So your victory is coming in after a period of battling, after a period of really standing your ground and being committed, right? Knowing for a fact that you are doing the right thing. And a lot of this has to do absolutely with finances, material, living situation. There may have been, for some of you, I hear a situation where you hooked up with this person, your lover, and then all of a sudden it was like the two of you, couldn't necessarily live together, or living together caused a lot of issues. There's some financial fallout, but fallout mostly from other people and other dynamics trying to come in and to disrupt. Page of Wands. Page of Wands showed up for one of the other piles as well today. And this is what I'm talking about. There's a real feeling of having to be brave. What's coming next in love? My pick a card readings on my channel are series. So the What's Next in Love is a series. This episode of this series is all about courage. Really, all three piles talk about courage and sticking through a particular situation. And I wonder, what situation is it for you? If you're resonating with this, let me know. Let the collective know. What particular dark part of this was difficult? Nine of Swords, absolutely. There were some times where you worried, you stressed out, you weren't sure what was going to come next or happen next. And you definitely felt like you may have been on your own. Again, this is why this sense of forbidden love keeps coming to mind, because it's as if once the two of you sowed that seed, once the two of you made that bond, you were on your own. Together as a couple on your own, as this love connection, but certainly you on your own, you were also on your own for a while. And it takes a lot of courage. Nevertheless, the victory is sure. So let's see, what does Spirit have to say? The inner child. The Spirit is reminding you of your inner child, reminding you of being receptive, and remembering who you are and cherishing yourself. The inner child oftentimes is also the wounded child. It's also the part of ourselves that we have to get to know and get to love, right? And oftentimes it reminds us of that learning curve of being validated, validating yourself, valuing who you are, valuing the child that you were, not being so hard on yourself, right? There's a feeling here that came with this Nine of Swords here. Some of you really felt very guilty about this lover, hooking up with this lover, being with them, and it's like because of all the strife that came in, because of all of the difficulty. But that commitment, you deserve love too, and you can't help who you love. There's a feeling here of, listen, you love who you love and they love you back, and be damned for the rest of the world if the world cannot handle it, right? But I do feel like there's an energy here that for a long time you may have taken on some of that not responsibility, but maybe even guilt for other people, or guilt certainly for what you're going through, right? It was not made easy. And yet what comes next in love for you is a victory. There is a last push here. 5 and 7 of Wands. There is still some more battling or some more holding strong to come. But Spirit of the Witch and Spirit of the Clover, magic is at play, sorcery is at play, and luck. Summertime. There is a breakthrough happening here. Luck is on your side. And, for some of you, the way you respond in this situation, magic is really intention. That's all. The secret to magic is intention and desire. What are your true intentions? What do you truly desire? What is your inner compass morally, spiritually? And that true intention, that holding on here, that knowing that you are building on something, that deep desire to want to build on something, Moon and Taurus, to be willing to put that effort in, meaning to be willing to hold strong through the lean times, through the times where you may not be seeing right away the proof of the pudding, is the magic, is the strength, and abundance and luck comes in. There is a whole new victory, a whole new chapter coming in here for a connection where the seed was sown quite a long time ago. Okay, folks, it's that time to pull your zodiac sign. We have Libra coming in for this reading. So that's some air. Did you hear the whistle? Sometimes it happens. We have Pisces coming in for the reading. So we have air and water. 2 more. We have more air with that Gemini. So some of you are dealing with that Gemini energy. Gemini coming in. And the last one, Sagittarius, of course. That bow shooter for my German friends. Sagittarius energy coming in. So 2 air, Libra and Gemini. Water, Pisces, and Sagittarius, that fire. All right, that is the message I have for you today and for pile number 3 for this episode of the series. Pick a card, what's next in love? I hope it brought you clarity. I hope it brought you insight. For right now, I'm just going to say I wish you all love, life, and happiness. Go check out the other piles. As I say, there was a running theme today, and you may find some insight in pile number 1 or pile number 2 as well. But for right now, I wish you all the love in the world. I hope to see you at Bow and Arrow Tarot for your next Pick a Card reading. Bye-bye, everyone.